Welcome to What Series 10. We talked about wives and husbands last week. This week we're going to be talking about kids and slaves and all the different sort of people that are involved in a household. So here we go. Paul makes this plain in verse 20. Children, obey your parents in everything, for this pleases the Lord. Christian children are addressed as responsible members within the congregation, which is noteworthy because children, when this was written in Colossae, had no status in society. And they're urged to obey, which is stronger than submit. Their parents expected them to be obedient to them. This will be an expression of their obedience to Christ, that they follow the words of their parents. And get this, it is about how to demonstrate our Christ-centeredness. Obedience is perhaps the best and most logical form of worship. And let me say that again. Obedience is perhaps the best and most logical form of worship. And you see, Paul goes on and he says in verse 21, "Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged." Why was that necessary to even say that? But at the same time, parents, especially fathers, are not to irritate and provoke their children, lest they become discouraged or think that they are useless. You see where I'm going here? This is about a code for how we live in a household. There should be firm, loving guidance, not a concept of children being slaves. It is so easy to put on so many restrictions on kids that we stifle them. Or the flip side, we don't put any expectation on them and we stifle them from a different perspective. As this is really a code of household behaviours and slaves were part of the household, Paul includes those slaves in the instructions on how to live within a household. Verse 22, slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything, and do it not only when their eye is on you to curry their favour, but with sincerity of heart and reverence for the Lord. What we do at this point is assume that this next verse is only attached to the one verse and only relevant to slaves. I think that's different. I think it's all inclusive of husbands, wives, parents, slaves, masters, people who work for someone else, people who do ministry in different situations. We need to take notice of not only that passage, but this one. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not for human masters. Be a wife that works at it with all your heart. Be a husband that works at it with all your heart. Be a kid that works at it with all your heart. Be a parent that works at it with all your heart. Be a slave, be a worker that works at it with all your heart. Do you get the drift? If we isolate everything, we make it about power and who is in charge. But if we look at it all together, it is about being the best person we can, which is what the previous passage looked about. And it's all one message. Here we go. Look at this verse. Verse 24. Since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward, it is the Lord Christ you are serving. It's about living right as Christians. It's about making Christian lifestyle achievable to us. Go back and read the passage again. Have a think about it this week.